Welcome to Car Talk with Matty J. It's 98.9 Northwest FM. We are your local car show for the local car community. So for the Northwest and for abroad, we've got listeners in the States and pretty much all over the place now. So keep it locked here for the next hour. You're going to be here with me, Matty J, as we talk cars and more cars. I'm joined in with Alan. What's going on?
Nothing much. I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, no worries. Happy to have you on. Nathan, what's going on?
Yeah, not much. Thank you.
And, of course, Mr. James from Man vs. Movies. How you on?
How you going, mate?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Look, we've got a few topics we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the future of electric cars because, Teslas, while they might be very expensive, once bigger car companies start getting on the electric train, do you think that Tesla's market share is going to pretty much collapse? Because they've planned like big time for what they're doing, and they're in a lot of debt because they're still trying to make up for what they're doing. So
I think Elon can take the hit.
Okay.
Because he'll make some more money out of PayPal now.
Is anyone else?
I feel that their market share will definitely take a hit just
Yep.
because there are more electric cars available, but they've established themselves in the market and they are a company that's smart enough to move along with how the market's going to shift.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be moved towards cheaper cars. They'll definitely bring out something on that side of the market. But they will definitely hold out more on the premium side.
Well, you say premium, but like from what I've heard, the quality control is still not there yet. Like what do you expect? They're a brand new car company, but in terms of like perfectionist is what most people I guess are hoping that's going to be from a company like Tesla. Like for example, like we journalists we like Matt Farry when he drove was it the I think it was the P250 whatever it was, the gullwing doors it's the SUV version, and I'll get to my hate of SUVs later on, but well, for now we'll continue. Like the shut lines weren't right, and and it's not a cheap car. It's like a $100,000 car. So, do you think that they're going to have to make their pricing like a bit more reasonable, or
They definitely will have to make it reasonable, but I feel they will be the most qualified to still sit on that premium side because, as the other companies, there's the Chevy Volt.
but that's still got a petrol engine.
Yeah. So there aren't very many cars that are like doing the same thing their cars are.
Yeah, well, they've got the full electric.
Yeah, they've got the full electric system, even though the range is terrible, I maintain. Compared to a petrol car.
Yeah, like they're still trying to implement the supercharge,
Yeah.
which they're now charging for. Did you know that? Which they are charging for now. So before you could fill it up, and I think it was pretty much free, and now they're actually charging you to fill up at a Tesla supercharger. Which is, look, it was always going to come. To be honest with you, for people that think they were going to get free electricity forever, is a bit of a dumb thing. But
Are there any companies though that are even close to Tesla in that regard?
I mean, look, there's been electric cars before.
Yeah, I know, but like
First electric cars were like the late 19th century.
Yeah.
Like
no, I
1890s.
know, but I'm talking about now. Like you're saying, their market shares might take a hit, but there's no one else really doing.
It'll be some years from now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, if for example, if the big, let's say the big 6 car companies, like for example, your GM, your Ford, your VW Group or VAG,
Now, I think is
your Mercedes and BMW. Or if they get on this train, it's it's a big thing. Well, I mean, and they're starting with it as well.
The thing is, if they will get on the train properly, because now putting my conspiracy theorist hat on for a moment, Big Oil would have a problem with this.
Oh, big time. But
So
That's the only reason we haven't got electric cars
so
now.
the trick is, will it actually happen? Because Tesla's like, well, I'm Elon Musk, I'm a billionaire, I can do what I like, and everyone's like, well, okay, it's his money.
Yeah.
But the big car companies, the oil companies will be like, well, hold on, no, because if you stop selling cars that take gas, we're not going to have any money. Like,
well, that's the other issue because this is what killed the electric car originally. Was when the big fuel, the
Vested
big
all interests.
yeah,
Just putting money in pockets of people.
well,
and
yeah,
now-
it's like, it sounds like conspiracy theories, but it's true.
It's
That's
true,
how
yeah.
the world works.
Yeah, it's exactly how the world
So
works.
if we replace all the oil-based cars with electricity, it's good for the planet, but the oil companies would go bankrupt.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here quietly on the E85 train. That's the future. And eventually we'll move to E100 like Brazil.
Well, yeah,
it's all planned out.
it's all.
Why worry about the electric car? Wasting batteries but it's things for electrodes and platinum and.
See, for me, the future's already been here, and it's been it didn't get taken too well. Honda, especially, were doing this with hydrogen, and the hydrogen cars and stuff, and that to me, it just emits water vapor. Purely, it is legit the best form of
You ask Elon Musk, he thinks it's stupid.
Well, he thinks it's stupid because
He also has a vested interest in a different type of
it's exactly right.
All these technologies exist.
Yeah.
But none of them will ever have a practical effect in society and how people buy cars because there's too much vested interest in oil and everything else.
You say that, but like in the States where that particular Honda was sold, they had hydrogen stations at petrol stations. I'm not going to say the names because we don't like oil companies, but
like Exxon Mobil
and Fuel
and EP.
They had hydrogen stations there. So I mean that's kind of smart because they said, okay, well this is new technology, let's get on this train, and they were offering it. So I think all companies can still do it if they do it right, and if they would have put their full back into it in terms of
to put on like a secondary conspiracy hat, like on top of my already conspiracy hat that I've borrowed from Nathan. But like think about like in 50, 100 years when there's no more oil on the planet, for argument's sake. Now the big oil companies.
There's not an argument. Like in 47 years, we should not have any left. So with the current consumption.
So in a few decades, there's no more oil, and all the oil companies, they're not just going to go, oh, okay, all you electric guys, all you hydrogen guys, go ahead. They're going to have a monopoly on the electric cars.
A lot of them already own the patents.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
so we're going to in 50 years from now we're going to end up paying more for electricity than we are for the petrol that we're paying for now
all
because
the car companies going to be like, fantastic, now buy our electric cars because we can't use our old one.
We ran out of petrol. Here's our electricity. You have to pay us however much money. So
see, it's a lose-lose for the consumer, really. We'll continue this right after this. We're going to go to a break, and it's kind of a song that's going to personify the dull mood we're starting off with today, with the end of fuel and stuff. The song's called 50 and 5 by the Hilltop Hoods. James knows the song. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
Kind of talks about all the world's problems and issues, but it does it in a way that I guess can relate to everybody, which is really good. It's MC Suffer's just the one. He just does it by himself on this track. So real good listening. Real meaning to this song. So give it a listen. We'll be right back after this. That was the Hilltop Hoods. You're back on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is CarTorque with Matty J, or as we were talking about during the break, Kenil Altus from Prison Break. I'll keep my mouth shut. I won't talk about that anymore. Before the break, we were talking about the future of, I guess, cars now in general, because the topic kind of moved on. So we've got really kind of over the past, let's say, 20 years, it's just been either fuel, hydrogen or electric, and people talking about electric cars, but theoretically they've been around for a long time. And the big conspiracy theories, which are in most points really true, have been the big oil companies saying no, and well, what's going to happen once we run out? Are they going to invest in other things and pretty much make us still pay $1.50 something a litre for a car that we can't use, or are they going to invent something that's going to be that cars can run on?
Yeah, practically everyone just has to buy new cars.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Yeah,
and the problem is we're now at that point where ideally we should be making a transition to any kind of alternative energy, whether it be E85 and then eventually E100, something that we can produce on demand. Because if we don't, the closer and closer we get to the inevitability that we're not getting enough oil to cover demand, it's just going to get harder and harder to make that transition because people are pretty much going to start killing each other again. They're already killing each other for oil, but they'll kill each other even more for oil. And, not particularly fond of that.
Yeah.
And the other important thing, we've discussed a few different options for fueling cars, whether it be 100% ethanol or electric or hydrogen.
Or Flintstone.
Yeah, or Flintstoning.
Wasn't there an engine? Wasn't there an engine where it's like runs off compost? So you literally just put in your trash. Like I'm not talking about Back to the Future.
Because I was going to say,
like they actually made it.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Could have. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
No, they did.
I know there's people that convert diesels into make them run on like chip fat.
Yeah,
So-
you use,
Yeah,
like old oils
yeah,
to
yeah.
make biodiesels.
and they work great.
Yeah, they work fine.
Or they
You
they
can
smell like fish
it-
and chips.
Yeah, you can smell it.
It's hilarious.
Like the main thing is for this kind of transition, do we pick one thing and throw everyone on it, or try and go, let's have some cars run on hydrogen, let's have some on
I
electric,
think-
well-
let's have some on ethanol? Because ideally, I think that's a great idea because you're able to improve all three technologies.
Yep.
One will probably win out for the most
That's the
part.
thing is, one has to win out because otherwise it's going to be there's too many separate things.
there's
So
too many
you're going to
separate
go to a petrol station of the future, and they're not going to have what you need.
What you need exactly.
It's like USB. Every USB port is the same because if they're all different sizes, you'd have to be like, I need different cables, I need different the flash
Yeah,
drives, I need different PC, I need different Mac.
One format always wins out.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
format usually wins out the most universal because once you have a proprietary kind of item, a port, or even a car or fuel, people tend to shun that because they don't want to be bothered to go an extra half a kilometre to find
Yeah,
another.
I think in reality it'll end up being one of them will dominate, and everyone will just have to use the one form.
So, well, in that case, did you hear about Volvo's recent recent thing they've come out with? The boss of Volvo's pretty much said we're scrapping all diesel engines. They're not doing any more diesels, and diesels are obviously huge in Europe and stuff like that.
Damn polluting individuals with their lying Volkswagens and everything.
Diesel VW.
Aren't diesels generally more fuel efficient? though?
I mean,
They want you to think
they want
so.
you to think so in a lot of ways.
Like
Like,
conspiracy episode.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, they are, you know, in most respects, I guess, but
They also produce
a lot more CO2.
a lot more CO2 and other like nitrous oxides and
Yeah.
other chemicals that are probably more dangerous to the atmosphere,
Yeah.
particularly the ozone layer, than just what you would get out of standard gasoline burn.
I mean, it's a tricky one because with big machinery, especially using diesel, there's no real case for it in today's money in the form of passenger cars, because passenger cars are especially petrols, are so advanced that they're pretty much in a same car for car basis use the same, if not less, fuel than diesels, and we're seeing cars with Sky Active technology and all the stop starts. They're pretty much they're just sipping fuel. But again, that's a whole nother topic as well. But it's kind of put a case out for the diesel that it's not really needed, and Volvo's kind of just said, you know what, they've actually come out and said we're not doing any more diesels. So
It's not needed, but it sells great.
It does.
Because it's like the petrol price is like double what it is here over in the UK. It's
Yeah.
like £2 a litre or something. It's like $4 a litre.
That's
And
it.
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive it is over there.
Well,
But they can't do anything about it. That's what the price is.
it's just that's what it is. It's
And you also consider what kind of distances they need to cover, what kind of cars they usually have.
yeah.
So like it works for them a little bit more. Definitely wouldn't work here. And if it wouldn't work here, it would never work in America.
Well, yeah, for example, in America, LPG is like so foreign to them. Like LPG here is like massive because everyone's just I mean every
LPG was really big in like the early 2000s.
early 2000s, early to late 2000s really it was
And then
massive. But
it died off, but is that because of the oil companies?
well,
or?
there's a few reasons because they actually offered a rebate to get your car converted to LPG. They got-
$2,000, I believe. It was.
yeah, whatever it was.
So it'd cost you about $400.
I mean, you could buy a brand new gas Falcon, and that'd even be government subsidised.
Yeah.
So, LPG, while it's a lot cheaper, it's not anymore. They've actually upped the price, the bastards. But while it's a lot cheaper, it burns faster. So that's kind of the downside to it. So theoretically, it's still cheaper to run on LPG, but it's not as cheap considering the
you have to fill up more often.
well, yeah, that and the fact that they've jacked the prices up as soon as they announced the rebate.
Yeah.
So because LPG is
they did that with solar as
30
well,
cents.
didn't they?
And that's how it
Arseholes.
should be, 30 cents.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, cars have gotten a little more efficient with LPG. Like the Eco LPI Falcons, I believe, they're running somewhere around 11 litres per 100 kilometres.
They were very
claimed.
good. They were very good.
I'd love to have our current Falcon, which is the, what do they call it?
E-gas.
E-gas. I'd love to replace that with an Eco LPI. The
That'd
other
be a
prob-
great daily.
Yeah. The other problem with it is the two main cars that would have used it, Falcons and Commodores, have also been in decline. So
Yeah.
their sales have been in decline. They're now no longer being sold.
Yeah.
But see, here's the issue. Like they could have put that technology to other cars.
They could have, but people for some reason just
You know, they could have put that technology, for example, in the territory, but they chose to put a diesel, which was an old diesel, but it was still a diesel. But they could have put LPG technology in so many other cars.
It's probably going to be a case of forced innovation. They're not going to do it until all the gasoline is gone, and they're just like, crap, we have to.
And that causes so many problems because if you wait till that moment, where the cake's finished and you haven't baked another cake. Kids are hungry.
Exactly.
I reckon they'll start rolling it out maybe 10 years before we run out of oil.
Yeah.
They will. I reckon they must have plans. They must have, at high level, they must have...
That we're all going to be paying for.
Yeah, but they must have plans. Like, you can't... they know it's a finite resource.
Yeah.
So they must have a plan, a business plan for when it runs out. They must do.
Is that a fidget spinner? Sorry.
It is. So I've been...
You're in the craze.
Dude, I confiscated so many like the last few weeks at the high school I'm teaching at, and then like a quick story, but I don't know if we're getting a bit sidetracked, but I confiscated one off this year 8, and I got to the table, I started playing with my mom, like, this is mad, and I look up and she's got like another 3 in a pencil case, so she's just playing with those as well, so I had to confiscate all them. But I'm just like I'm so gonna get one of these, and I went to the $2 shop, I won't say which one, and bought it, and I've been like. It's been like in my hands ever since. Like it's legit an addiction now.
And you're not getting it back.
Bloody hell. Anyway, I'll get back on the topic.
I feel one thing that could definitely push the electric market to really just staying toe to toe completely with petrol and actually, I guess, quicken the eventual shift is if they could come up very quickly with a battery that would last an equivalent amount of petrol, like 600 kilometers.
Yeah,
a 600
but it has to be a quick charge.
Yeah,
and that's like.
I think charging will be the big thing in the future. It's like if you can't charge a car as fast as putting in petrol, no one's going to do it.
Getting the cars to run on electricity isn't a problem.
It's getting the distance.
Yeah,
and in the city, don't get me wrong. Like you see a lot of those iMeves and Mitsubishi things and stuff. In the city, they work great because you only have to go a little distance and you can just charge it, but. On the open road, I wouldn't trust from going here to the Great Ocean Road and back because you wouldn't make it even in a Tesla. So it's iffy.
Which is why I feel the push for range is slightly more important than the push for fast charging. At least in these two things.
Yeah.
If you have, for example, my car, I run about 600 kilometers every 2 weeks. So if I didn't charge the car, or even though the battery will drain, if I had a car that could do that for me, I'd have no issue with it because I know the moment I come home, I'm going to plug it into charge. A car for the average passenger that could have a similar range as I guess, just a current car that's sold, a current petrol car, it's fine. For somebody that's doing obviously long hauls, neither car's going to work. A fast charging or a long range car, neither are going to work. But I feel if you can master the range first and then work on charging, you've got clean competition that you can actually win.
Another interesting thing you brought up is that if you don't use the car, it's still going to lose charge. So that's a problem. And also, theoretically, if you were stuck in the desert, just for argument's sake, and there was, you ran out of petrol, you could walk a few miles to a petrol station, fill up a jerry can, walk back.
Put some in and go.
But as far as I know, you can't take a battery out of a Tesla and walk it to.
They'll have a solar solution.
But it's like
you'd think that this should be happening.
Yeah, we're going to have solar solutions or small removable batteries that you can take to the petrol station. I mean, that's an emergency situation.
I mean, half the problem is assuming that these giants will actually care about these.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because once yours gone, this is life now. You take what you're given. At the end of the day, they could flood the market with really crap electric cars, and people have no choice.
That's it. Yeah.
But eventually, there will be a competitor that wants to make.
There will be innovation, but how slow will it be? It's just
once that's the only market, I feel the innovation will pick up. It's there are most companies that make anything big, they're looking for the easy way out. They're looking for the profits. That's their bottom line. They don't give a crap. But there are occasionally companies that do, and they're the ones that people look to. They're the ones that then cause everyone else to pick up where they're sitting and move along because they know if they don't move along with them, they're just going to get left behind. I mean,
sorry to interrupt, but you see, this is where Honda, everyone thought, okay, Honda's on a mad trip here because they did the hydrogen, in their car, and then no one else did it. like, I mean, like, you know, like other companies delved into it little bits here and there, but like no one else kind of really pushed for that technology. I mean, in the States it was there, it wasn't in Australia, it wasn't in Europe, and this was apparently going to be the next big thing. Where was it? And I think it's been all hushed up as well, you know, back on the conspiracy theories. But, you know, because hydrogen's it's free, one, and two, that it's, you know, it's no emissions, it's just water vapor. That is, to me, the perfect solution. That it's there, and they're going to get all these acid batteries and everything in these cars,
Yeah.
you know, and the lithium-ion batteries, whatever the hell they are. It's wasting, you know, extra resources to get them made when there is this technology right there in front of you that's just, it's genius. And why can't it be used? Why won't it?
Profits.
Well, yeah, that.
I wonder if it's going to be like a future where 3D printing and computer modeling becomes so cheap and readily available in everyone's home that everyone's just going to jerry-rig their pre-existing car with whatever, like, mode of fuel.
Yeah.
Pirated cars.
Yeah, basically pirated
you
cars.
Can't pirate a car. Oh, yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, again, you watch me.
like in old sci-fi movies where, you know, they've got pipes coming out of the fuel tank going into, you know, batteries and all this stuff. Like, is it going to get that bad to the point where people are like, like your car runs off several different types of fuel and there's just pipes coming out? I mean, I probably don't think it'll be like that in probably Cuba, like third world countries where they're already having to use ingenuity and just random materials. Yeah, they just have to pick up, you know, washing machine parts and make engines out of it. So
they use boat parts and everything.
So I mean, I don't know if it'll be like as bad as that, but I mean, who knows?
I mean, like, hopefully they'll figure out something else for us, like, especially, like, you know, us car guys that, like, you know, like the internal combustion engine. Because, you know, cars are such an integral part of our lives, and, you know, we wouldn't want to see, like, you know, classics and, like, you know, like, for example, classics now that we you know, in 50 years not be able to use, just be a paperweight. You know, that comes into another.
I think there'll be quite the market in modifying these car engines to electric or whatever.
To run, yeah.
Then there is something that'll be a massive market,
And that's why I said on the E85 and eventual E100 train, because you still keep the soul of what that engine was.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And the E85, you know, we can produce it.
Yeah, we can produce it.
Excuse my ignorance, but you can run that in a normal car,
There are certain
or you have to
tuning
you have to update the engine.
It's not that hard to get them going. It's just injectors, fuel pump.
So you can convert a pre-existing.
Like my car,
Yes.
I could take to E85.
Yeah.
Most
cars you can. Thing is, it burns quicker as well. Though
Yeah.
that's one thing. But then
Yeah.
again, it's
cheaper.
It's not necessarily cheaper. It's more that I don't know
It's
how to
technically
explain.
carbon neutral.
Yeah.
If you're using E100, that is. If you're using E85, it's not carbon neutral because you've got 15% actual petroleum. But the ethanol that you're burning off.
Oh, because
all
it's
of it-
pure when you burn it, it doesn't put off as much emissions.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does burn cleaner than petroleum, I believe.
It does,
But
yes.
all those emissions, all that carbon dioxide that you're letting off, you once absorbed into corn or rice or some other grain. So you've taken that carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and you're adding it back. You're still technically balanced. There are also obviously costs with manufacturing and whatnot, so you'll lose efficiency, but still it's a lot more balanced than any kind of petroleum product.
So let's say it. What are we saying in the future? E85?
I'll sit on E85 to E100, or I'll make my own future. No, but the cars I have, that if I wish to keep a car, and with the old school engine, there will be people that will modify and pretty much move to those resources.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on E85, and I'm still on the hydrogen train. I just wish that it'd be pushed further. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, I think new cars will be electric,
Yep.
and there'll be a market to modify older cars with hydrogen or
E85,
E100
yeah.
or E85.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, E85 maybe, but it doesn't seem like anyone's pushing for that. Like anyone,
People in the
anywhere.
streaming world are, like people, us car guys
Yeah,
are, but
like in the people who can actually make a big difference.
The problem with pushing for E85 though is it's still using petroleum, and when there's no petroleum left,
Yeah.
where do you turn?
Maybe it's just a solution for the next 10, 20 years,
Like,
but
it's
then...
just to get us by, I guess.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a solution for extending
And
the
then
sort
move
of
to the E100. Yeah.
extending the oil reserves that we have.
Well, look, a few car companies are pushing E85, like they're actually selling E85 compatible cars.
Okay.
I know Holden was doing it with the SS as well, and like I know Dodge is doing a few cars, but look, we got to go to a break anyway. So we're going to go to a song by Mr. Lenny Kravitz. The song's called Mr. Cab Driver. I don't know if you guys heard this one before. It's a bit of a fun tune for a Tuesday night. So we'll get into that. We'll be right back after this. That was Lenny Kravitz with Mr. Cab Driver. Doom doom doom. Good track that one. A bit of fun for a Tuesday night. You're back on Car Talk with Matty J. Still got a bit left in the show. So we've come to the conclusion just before the break of it's pretty much an E85, E100, or hydrogen/electric world, but it's going to be in, let's say, 50 odd years. I'd be pretty cool with that.
And just a quick note on that. Engines are a hell of a lot more efficient than they used to be back in the day.
Oh, 100%.
And I firmly believe that there is more efficiency to be had.
Definitely.
Koenigsegg's a great example of that, how they decided to do the camless valve technology.
Yeah.
Where they decided to open the valves using
Electronically, pretty much.
Electronics, yeah, with electronics. And that pretty much made the engines, I think, up to 40% more efficient.
I'd just hate to see one of those things fail, because then it'd be like a piston slap against the valves and stuff. It'd be a mess. But while it is efficient, it is very good.
And it just goes to show that even though we've been working on these engines and these systems for so long, there is always a bit more efficiency to be had.
Yeah.
And we, like as we talked about, we don't know of 40 years of innovation what that could find us. We could have cars that run.
I think the problem is now we're on a clock because the environment's not getting any better, and the government doesn't seem to be doing anything, and society seems to be not really caring about each other or the planet itself. So it's like we kind of have to hurry up.
We definitely do. But
like 40 years is too long.
Yeah, not to get political on the show, but generally conservative governments like we have now don't care as much about fighting for the environment as, say, more progressive governments do.
Yep.
And at the moment we're seeing everywhere it's Donald Trump and conservative parties everywhere getting voted in, mostly.
Yep.
And they're not really concerned.
It's just, but bottom line is, Nathan, we just need to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about in another episode, like they shut down the Broadmeadows plant.
Yep.
If you bring a Tesla mega factory here, if you bring this desalination plant, other innovations, you create jobs.
Jobs, yeah.
You reopen the plant as something new.
South Australia is doing the right thing, and they have solar or something, or there's some energy.
Yeah, we need to be retraining the Broadmeadows plant workers for new, solar, electric cars, whatever.
Dollar signs, James. That's what it comes
I
down
know
to.
that's the problem.
It's when you can get it done cheaper in a third world country.
Yeah.
Bottom line is they're going to do it there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but it's true. But yeah, look, we'll leave it there. We can go on this topic the whole night, pretty much, which is good. But
sorry, CarTorque fans.
no, it's good. It's good. It's
and because
we need to talk about this.
Yeah, and because we've rolled the ball and I've just boiled up some anger in me. If you dislike wind energy and turbines because you think they look ugly,
you're an
idiot.
idiot.
You're an idiot.
They give me a headache. No,
You shouldn't have
that's never been proven.
They blamed the wind. Didn't they blame the South Australian infrastructure problem on wind energy?
What?
And they're it overloaded the.
Oh my god!
Did it?
Yeah, the blackout.
And it's no, it didn't. If a pylon falls over, there's nothing to do with
before we
wind power.
move on, there's no such thing as clean coal, everybody.
Yeah.
No such thing.
I mean, the ad will have you think otherwise.
Yeah, they're making ads for coal now. We live in 1984.
Have you seen the ads on a certain news network about what the little black rock can do?
Oh Jesus!
It's
God.
it's like a certain politician is holding a rock of coal in
No,
Parliament.
he's not. Tell me he's not.
He
What?
is. And he's
Come on.
this magical little black rock. I'm like, oh man.
We're all screwed. I mean, 10.
Can we burn him at the stake for being a
We're saying
magical
40.
little black rock?
What did we say? 40.
Scary.
What did we say? 40 years until electric cars. In 40 years, we're going to be in Mad Max, so it doesn't really matter.
It's going to be.
I mean,
Yeah, I reckon the next great wars are
number
definitely
one?
fought over
the
last
water,
oil reserves.
the oil, and the water wars. That'll be it.
we'll see the last of the V8 Interceptors.
At least we'll get a last interceptor, and there'll be mutant guys running around, and and like guys with crossbows. That'll be cool,
We'll
I
be
guess.
old men,
It'd be like-
we'll be old men yelling in our porches, being like, "Back in my day, we used fossil fuel."
Porches. The whole world's going to be underwater, so it'll be like Waterworld, where you pee in that
Oh,
device
yeah.
and it desalinates your pee.
Yeah,
We've got a plan, boys. We should be the leaders of the free world.
we should be. This should be boat talk because we're going to be underwater. We're going to be underwater. Yeah.
It's
50 years, we'll be
And you know what's a good fuel for boat engines? Diesel. Because because it doesn't require complicated electronics.
Exactly
You know,
right.
which you don't want in a water environment.
Yeah.
It's just
So there's a place for diesel yet.
there is still a place for diesel, and as people, diesels can run under the water, which is what we're talking about here. So
That's it, Matt. We're scrapping your show.
I
We're
mean,
running
it's
underwater.
the future is now.
boat talk.
The future is now. We have to move on. Progress.
It's going to be boat talk with Aquaman next week, and it's happening. It's happening. Look, as you guys know, I'm getting married next year, and I've been deciding to plan out what's going on, and I've been given one role, and Avini's like, you have one role, don't screw it up, and she's like, you shouldn't be able to screw this up because you're a car guy. I've been given the cars. Choose the cars that you're going to use. I'm like, okay, so
A Mustang.
yeah, that's what everyone's using. Yeah, Mustangs, like old school Mustangs, new school Mustangs. I get it. Like I love Mustangs. I'm a Ford guy, so that's what's going to happen. But I'm kind of thinking it's something completely crazy. Like
Like
I'm
a Reliant Robin?
not that crazy. I wish
Or a P50? So you have to get one each and like drive next to each other?
that'd be amazing. Just driving down the aisle in those, that'd be hilarious. But look, 'cause I've always wanted to have my Typhoon in there, so that's just a given.
I'll
But-
drive that.
Sorry.
I'll drive that.
You can drive it for me. You can be my chauffeur. But I'm thinking an old Type 1 combi. I've just got silence. This is really going awkward now.
Everyone would fit in there.
Well,
They
make
would?
it there?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been looking online, and there's like people that do combis for hire for weddings, and they're really they're kind of like the hipster popular at the moment, which is a bit odd. But like I've always had a soft spot for combi vans, just because one, they're freaking cool as, and two, I mean, like you can fit everyone in there, and it could be great, be great for shots. So there's one I can see that's silver, so it can match the Typhoon in that aspect, because this is the same colored car.
And
But-
we can all get high in the back.
And, I mean, it's a hippie car. I mean, come on. So we'd be like trash before the ceremonies even begun. What's your take on a combi van?
Unconventional?
It is very unconventional, isn't it?
Unconventional is
Not bad.
good though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, for a car guy, you'd think, you'd have Lambos and Ferraris and shit, but like,
Lambos and Ferraris, I feel
they're just posing with
it's just
those.
distasteful.
It is, yeah.
Like everyone loves them, but it's distasteful.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mustang, it's overused, but it's got an
It's
appeal
cool.
to it.
Yeah, it's got an appeal.
It's classic. It's not like, look at me, I've got money, even though I don't.
Yeah.
It's like the Lambos are, and but we won't discuss that. I feel the van's not a bad idea.
It's cool, like an original one, like
Yeah.
like first Type 1 split window combi, with with the Safari pop outs, which would be just dope.
Have you considered the VL Turbo?
I have actually, but believe it or not, and this has come from me. It'd be a nice addition next to the F6, like have a it probably the VL probably won't make it there because it would just die halfway through. But that'd be cool. I've thought about like other homegrown heroes, like like obviously like a GT, but I'm kind of a bit over them at the moment. Like even like a GDS, Club Sport, or Club Sport, I should say. Or a Maloo, like all us in the boot, or in the Ute bed of a Maloo, just going nuts.
Somebody's doing a burnout, while you're sitting in it.
It's just like, yeah. I thought those. I thought WRXs, Evos, other stuff like that. But I keep coming back to the combi because one, it's you don't see them like done often, and like everyone's done like like old school muscle cars, new school muscle cars, but like. It's like I still want to have my Typhoon in there, so it'd be a cool contrast between something newish and something really really old, but really cool. So,
What about like an entire line of AU Falcons?
I mean,
In
yes,
beige.
in beige with the two-tone interior. It would be just, and it'll have to be on gas as well.
Yeah.
I reckon that's done. You've hit the nail on the head there, Alan.
Done. With a perfect, just the convoy of like 20 of them just driving, just parking.
One in each car. But dude, it's crazy how much AU Falcons have like like they're like pop culture now. AU Falcons. Like for those of you who know what an AU Falcon is, it is like
The ugliest falcon.
the people reckon it's the ugliest
Ever
Falcon ever made. So they've kind of got like a cult status of well, one, they're just ridiculously reliable. Like they're one of those unkillable cars. But two, just because they're so ugly that people just kind of like have a like a love for them. I mean, it's kind of like the Reliant Robin in that aspect. Like, it's just stupid.
It's a bit of a laugh.
It's a bit of a laugh, but everyone kind of loves them. So I think that's where I'm going with the combi though, because like everyone knows they're super duper slow. Everyone knows that they're they're just a big old bus, but everyone kind of loves them because they've got that coolness aspect to them. So I think that's why I'm kind of heading towards that combiness. Look, we're gonna get to a last song of the night, and we'll come back for the quiz. We're gonna go to a song by Kavinsky. We're actually gonna end on two songs by Kavinsky. But the first one we're gonna go to is Testarossa Auto Drive. So it's a typical, I mean, obviously Testarossa is like one of the coolest Ferraris ever made, but it's just dope. So we'll go with that. We'll be right back after this. Back on CarTorque with Matty J. This is 98.9 Northwest FM. We're just talking about Prince during the break. We're all big Prince fans in here.
Except for me.
You're not?
No, I never really.
He had a
listened to
purple
Prince.
sports car.
I'm looking at a picture of a dark red 456 GT, so purple sports cars mean nothing to me.
Well, look, we've only got a few minutes to go, so we'll get to the quiz. Alan, you're ready. I've picked up my wrong USB today, so I've got no music for it. But let's make it happen.
I'll do it. Dum dum.
There we go. It started. Question 1. I didn't say stop, James. No, I'm kidding. The latest generation BMW M3 has how many cylinders?
Latest generation. I want to say 8. Oh,
Incorrect.
6. No, I said 6.
It's too late.
No.
Question 2. The previous Mustang turbo 4-cylinder was called the what?
The EcoBoost.
The previous one.
What? There was a previous one?
There was a previous one in the Fox body shape.
I don't know. Give me a hint.
Starts with S.
Starts with S. All right, let's move along.
We'll pass that one. Question 3. True or false? The new turbo 4-cylinder in the EcoBoost is the same displacement as the original turbo Mustang.
False.
It's true.
Man, I'm not doing well.
2.3 liters. All right. Question 4. Audi means what in Latin?
You're trying to hurt me today.
these are easy, man. Actually, this one's pretty hard. Sorry.
I say it means go.
Nah, it means here. Yeah, didn't know that. Question.
Like audio, like here.
Yeah, like here. Yeah. It's a bit weird. I don't know. It's just like it's one of those trivia questions.
Get it?
Question
Audi.
5. Audi. Question 5. The Holden Commodore is originally from what decade? The first Holden Commodore.
Why are you killing me? I say like 1960.
Nah, 70s.
Oh god.
Jeez, this is not a good night for you, Alan. Question 6. The Mazda 323 was called the Mazda what in Japan?
I don't know, the Esteem.
Nah, the Familiar. Jeez, Alan, you've like killed it most weeks. What is going on tonight, mate?
Choosing very, very obscure and difficult questions.
Question 7. What was the last series of the air-cooled 911s? Before they went water-cooled.
I've got no idea. On that 911 series.
All right, we'll pass. Question 8. The Toyota 86 comes in 2 specs in Australia. What are they?
I don't know. Now I can't even think of that.
No.
Because there's GT
Yeah, that's one of them. I'll give you half a point for that.
and what was it, GTS?
GTS is correct.
Yeah, you got
He's
one.
on the board. Give him a clap, people. He's on the board.
Let the record state. I hold the record. All right. So,
You do,
I need to
and this
prove
is.
myself.
I'm seriously thinking about taking this away from you. Question 9. The Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. The G is short for what?
Gangster.
I'd like to think so, but it's not.
There's some kind of German word.
It is a German word.
See, that's not fair.
But okay, if you don't get what the word is, what type of vehicle is it? It's not a sports utility vehicle. It's called something else.
Some kind of, I don't know, Ultra military vehicle.
Nah, cross-country vehicle. It's actually called the Galanda wagon. That's what G stands for. Question 10. Is it available in AMG?
Yes, it is.
It is. That's correct.
This one comes with the. Is that a 5.5?
The new one's, new one's a 4 liter twin turbo. The previous one was a 6.2.
So why do they call them 55s?
And they were probably the older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Mazda 323 was called the what in Japan?
The Familiar.
It is. Actually, I'll ask you that question, haven't I? Yeah. So
No, I get a point for that.
no, you don't. What was the last of the air-cooled 911s?
I don't know, like
No, it's 99 something.
99 something.
Yeah. So it'd be like 994, 993, 996.
Oh, like the 998.
No, 993.
Oh, man.
Sorry, man. And the one you didn't get, the previous generation Mustang. No idea.
It starts with S. That's
It
all
does.
you're gonna
Yeah.
give me.
Okay, it starts with S, ends in O. And it's 3 letters.
What? Starts with an S and ends with an O.
It's very good, if you know what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm being very stupid here. Nathan, help me out.
Volumtia is very variable. It's a letter, I'm saying. I'm trying to help you not get the lowest score of all time.
SBO.
SVO, that's correct. I'll give it to Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
1, 2, 3. 3 out of 10. Not your finest night, Alan. Just going to put it out there. Not your finest night.
What's the record for the lowest points?
I think it was 2, and I think that was got by. Oh, geez, I can't remember now. I've got to go through my archives. But
Julian, maybe?
yeah, it probably was Julian.
I'm sitting above that. I'm just saying. I also hold the record for this.
You're at the top and the bottom.
So
Bookends.
I don't need this right now.
All good, all good. Look, we're pretty much out of time tonight. Thanks for joining us again on another Tuesday night. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
No problem.
No
It's always
worries.
a pleasure.
It was a good discussion tonight about the future of the automotive world. You know, it's a scary world that's going to happen. You know, in 50 odd years, we're out of we're out of fuel pretty much. So oil.
So I'm gonna start distilling my own alcohol, then putting it in my car engine.
I'm just going to start, growing, plants and making E85 and E100 and all other stuff.
I'm drinking some of it too. Not drinking and driving.
Wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good.
Who'd you make it blind?
That's true. That's why you
See-
distill off the initial part at about 35 degrees.
So technically, would running it in your car make you technically running moonshine?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're illegal.
Bootleggers.
Bootleggers. The damn bootleggers. That was a terrible American accent. We're going to end on a song tonight by Kavinsky. This is just a request from our good friend Nathan of the show. Night Call. It's a classic track.
We all appreciate it.
It is a good song. We do appreciate it. So this is Kavinsky with Night Call. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. We'll see you again next week, same time, 7 p.m. Just before us, we've got James' show. Give it a plug, James.
6 p.m. every Tuesday, Man vs. Movies, movie reviews, etc.
Etc.
Like and share the Facebook page, Man vs. Movies.
And like and share our Facebook page. It's CarTorque, TORQE with Matty J, and we're on Facebook, and we're on Shout Engine for if you missed any of our previous episodes on podcasts. We're also on iTunes as well. So look us up, download, and if you missed any of our previous episodes, I'm sure we've covered something that you would be interested in. So definitely get on there. We're heading up to almost 50 episodes, believe it or not, which is
Nearly a year.
nearly a year. I've been on the radio, which is a scary prospect. But in the meantime, this has been CarTorque with Matty J. Thanks again for tuning in, and tune in next week. We'll have more car-related topics, as we usually do. This is Kavinsky with Night Call. Take it easy.